Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. I'm your host, Dave, and today I'm doing a podcast. I wanted to do one of these for a long time, and I'm up in PA with my two good friends, Doug and Tyler, and they'll introduce themselves in a couple seconds. One tried to jump the gun. But I thought it would be interesting today to go over a little history about my channel, how I came up with my name. Then, basically this, guys, is almost my 500th video. I think by the time I edit this and post it, it will be like 501 or something like that.
Yay!
So what we're going to talk about today is a little history. Then we're going to go into what we used to collect as kids, what we collect now, what we used to play with, that type of stuff. And what is our favorite collection or item we have at the moment. And I think that's a good place to start off. And then we'll just BS for the rest of it and have some fun. I think everybody wants to have fun. That's...
yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Okay, so first of all, for those who don't know and you're just stumbling on my channel, my name's Dave. I've been the host of The Points of Articulation for about almost 5 years. I think I'm on season 5 right now, and comes December, it should be 5 years by then. And on my channel, I review a lot of die-cast starships, mostly at the moment just Star Wars vessels, X-Wing miniatures, and also Armada miniatures. So that's basically where I'm at. And now I'm going to introduce my good friend, Doug.
Well, hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Dave, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited, and we got some audio equipment today to play around and mess around with this stuff, so it's cool to play with some new toys.
And I have to add, this is basically a prototype show. We're all jerry-rigging everything to get this to work.
Well, Dave, I'm glad you mentioned prototype, because when I hear prototype, I think about the USS Excelsior.
The grand experiment.
Yes. / failure.
Well, if Scotty didn't take the trans-warp whatever.
Yeah, he pulled the nuts and bolts out of it. Who knows what he did, but it did go to warp. It just didn't trans-warp. So.
No, it sputtered out.
Yeah, but it did end up going to warp. When Captain Sulu inherited the vessel, it ended up doing warp drive. But
oh my!
So anyway, yeah, I'm Doug, and I'm here and helping out Dave with his channel. And this channel is actually, to me, just a really cool thing to watch and to listen to. It's always nice to hear Dave's voice. Makes me laugh all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope he's brought others as much joy as he's brought me, and I hope that this entire podcast venture sounds like it's going to turn out to be pretty good. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And next we have Tyler.
Hello.
Hey, Tyler.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me at your guys' house. So
absolutely.
Sit here.
Tyler sounds like he's experimenting with an ASMR video at the moment.
Yeah. We got to get, what's her name? AMSR Darling. When she's like, hey, it's me. AMSR. Darling.
That's how she does.
Yeah, that's what she does. Dude, that girl makes bank. She has like millions of subscribers.
Awesome.
I could do that.
Well, Tyler's going to get it. See, he already started it. You're going to have a whole new spin-off. It's going to be the points of ASM articulation. That's going to be the spin-off from here. So we're going to brand that. It's patented right now. There it is. That's the next sub-channel.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to make sub-channels.
ASMR articulation.
5 years on YouTube almost. And I only have 1,800 and I think right now it's 35 or 25. What are you going to do? I got to have merchandise. Coffee cups, forks, sunglasses, all that stuff. I'll sell it to all the hipsters who have Starbucks.
Don't worry, Dave. Every successful venture has a 0.1, 0.0. It starts with 0.0. You're at 0.0 now. You got 0.1. This might be your 0.1. Audio podcasting, 0.1. You'll have two different areas.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's get this thing moving and go over a little history. Now, one or two of you on my channel that I talked to might have known this story, but where did I come up with the name? And this is actually pretty funny, and it goes back to, geez, it's got to be 2008?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe late 2009, maximum. So anyway, I'm over at Doug's house, and as most of you know, I live in New Jersey. Doug moved from New Jersey to PA, so I would travel up there with my family, and one day he goes, "Oh, you got to see this item I bought, man. This thing's awesome." And he goes over and he grabs this thing, and he gives it to me. And it's a action figure, and it was a Marvel Legends Series 1, I believe, Captain America.
Yep.
And on the box, it was all like, 32-page comic! And then on the side, over 30 points of articulation, and this and that, and base and flag, and all this crap. And then, you know, back then, Toy Biz knew how to sell their figures.
Even though they were out of business by that point, but
Yeah, they were.
I didn't even understand toy companies at the time, so I was just like, oh, it's Marvel Legends, but an old package.
Yeah, we'll get to this in a while when we go through our histories with collecting, but Doug has a massive collection of Marvel figures from the early 90s that goes with the animated shows like X-Men, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, Fantastic Four. I think all of them. Silver Surfer, too.
Yep.
So when you go from having 5 points of articulation, like a Power of the Force Star Wars figure, and then all of a sudden you have 30 points and the fingers move, that's a big deal, especially for a person who collects figures like that. To me, anyway. Like, I always wanted to take a Spider-Man and turn him into a donut. You know, I'm just kidding.
I'm just going to say, just a caveat, for those aficionados out there that are listening, if you happen to remember the actual points of articulation for that Captain America, we might not be sure that's the actual figure I'm talking about.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's 30.
Great.
It said it on.
I
a
thought
sticker.
Series 1 didn't have as much articulation, at least according to that Toad figure in the case over
yeah.
there.
Well,
thing,
that Toad
that
sucks
Toad
ass.
sucks.
that thing should have like
really
negative
bad.
1 points of articulation.
Oh man, we
What,
could
the
have a
arms
whole.
move? That's it, right?
Yeah, it's awful.
We could have a whole show just on Marvel Legends history, and basically Toy Biz in general. Because if it wasn't for Toy Biz, there would be no Hasbro making bank on these things
This
right
is
now.
true.
But that could be a good one for a future video, if you guys like and comment how awesome we are. But anywho, that's basically how I came up with my name, because I laugh at a lot of stupid stuff, and when I read that, I did it in a voice similar to what I told you guys and girls, whoever's listening. And when I was like, 30 points of articulation, it became a joke. And I would say it over the phone, because then Doug started collecting these damn things. And I believe it was the Red Hulk wave, Nihilus, Ronin, all those classic Hasbro waves before they stopped making them at all. You know, I just thought about it one day. You know, that sounds like a good name to me. Nobody else had it at the time. So I just took it. Little did I know, one dude, I think on Facebook, has a name, Points of Articulation, which I never communicated with them, never reached out, whatever. Screw it. And then also, it's a term used for speech pathology. So if you go on Google, at least in my neck of the woods, and type in points of articulation, you see like an outline, like somebody took somebody's head and cut it in half with their tongue hanging out. So yeah, nobody could really find my channel. I'm a mystery.
Don't worry, once you have point 1.
Wish I had a
Smooth sailing
soundbite
from there.
from Animal House when it's like 0.0. You know, did you ever see Animal House? It's a
No.
college movie.
No. Like a student film?
It's like a National Lampoon's
Oh,
movie. Well, in there, basically, this one character, his GPA is super low. He doesn't even do anything. And he picks up the paper to Dean, and he's all like, and you, it's like, your GPA is 0.0. Which, you know, we all went to college. Do you know how hard it is to get a 0. You start with a 4.0.
Yeah.
I don't think you can actually get a 0.0.
No, you'd probably be done. by
Yeah,
that
you
point.
wouldn't even make
They
it.
would
You
kick
wouldn't
you
make
out.
it through.
Academic probation and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's a good movie. If anybody has ever seen National Lampoon's Animal House, check that out. Okay, so moving on from there, let's talk a little bit about our own personal histories with collecting, because I think that would be pretty interesting to the audience. Who would like to go first?
I can do it if you'd like.
Sure, Tyler, take
All
it.
right.
The reins are yours.
Okay. So, as a child, I started with the Power Rangers, the classic Mighty Morphin with the flip heads. I don't know the technical term for it or the
Yeah, I think
official.
they were called flip heads.
Were they?
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
You know,
Yeah, I had the whole set. They were friggin' awesome.
Yeah. You know, back then, the articulation was limited and like the joints were limited, but they were cool and they were legit. And then as Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings came out, I was huge with the Toy Biz Lord of the Ring figures. Super pumped for those Diamond Selects. even if the articulation is going to be a little hindered. But they were like always really, really special to me. And same with Harry Potter, less so. Like the Mattel Harry Potters were all right. After a while, they just kind of released the same figure with like spider webs and slime and stuff like that, and that wasn't, whatever. But the Lord of the Rings was legit. Don't have them anymore, unfortunately, though. And then Max Steel, which I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Was that the cartoon on Fox Kids, whatever?
Yeah, I think I remember it being on Cartoon Network as well. I could be wrong about that.
That is a Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram color, maximum steel metallic.
Well,
just want to throw that in there if there's any car buffs out there, because anyone who had a car, I would call it Max Steel, and it sounds like an actor's name.
Well, they were like basically because the show was CG, completely CG.
It was
animated.
like Beast Wars.
Like Beast Wars, yeah.
One of my faves.
But the toys were like Barbie dolls.
Yeah, they were like those. Wait, not to cut you off.
No.
When Toys R Us was still up and kicking in around New Jersey and America, I would walk in and they would have Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series,
Right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you see Action Man. I
Action
have
Man.
no clue. I think it's Action Man, and it was like a dude. He looked like a cheap ghetto brand M. Bison from Street Fighter 2, and he just stood there like a soldier. And then you had a blue one, the red guy, and then later on they had other figures too. But it was like a big G.I. Joe with the clothes on. But I always saw
like
it. I'm
soft
like,
goods.
I never see him missing from the rack. I never saw anybody go, "Mommy, I want Action Man."
Well,
I have no clue where they went. See, that's one of the reasons Toys R Us went out of business.
I would really hate a kid asking their mommy for Max Steel. Mommy, I want Max Steel.
why? What's
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
Max Steel?
It just doesn't sound right to me.
Well,
I don't even know what you're talking
He had a
about.
cool
but
car.
It just doesn't sound
I remember
right.
the car. It was silver, and it was like a convertible. What? I know it's ridiculous.
Writes to Santa Claus. Hey Santa, it's me, Timmy. I want a bike and Max Steel with his nano powers.
Well, he also had some kind of bracer that was like a computer and stuff. He was a spy, I think.
Oh.
I think he was a spy.
If memory serves me right,
Yeah.
he had some sort of nanites in him, like the Borg.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his arch villain
been such a
had
long time
like
since I've seen
they
that.
look like pill bugs. And the thing is, I think they canceled the show because I would watch it when I come home. It was like I would come home from school, and they would have like Digimon on, and
Ooh.
then Max Steel,
Max Steel.
and
Max Steel.
but then you would watch it, and it would get to a certain point where these like robot pill bugs are going to go kill him, and then I'm like, wow, how does this end? And then the next episode comes, and it's like the
unrelated.
first episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, it pulled a reboot. To show
I actually
reboot.
think they're rebooting the show now.
They're
I think
rebooting
it's current. I could be wrong. It could be a couple of years old.
Wait.
Well, it was a very popular car color.
No. Speaking of color, see, we're just keep going on different rants.
Yeah.
When Tyler should be telling us what he collects, but I'm sorry, I gotta
That's
add
fine.
this. Wait, I gotta
Go on.
add this. On my channel, when I talk about the miniatures, I have a mold section where I go over my ships, and then I have a paint section.
When you go over to paint apps, yeah.
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 So, I don't know, some people may think it's redundant to do both because I'm sitting there going, oh, it's got black and glossy black and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But if you buy an expensive model, such as the X-Wing or whatever, they use colors I'm not familiar with because, money talks. So I'm looking at this ship, and I'm like, what the hell color is this? I got brown, light tan. What is this? So
were
I
you,
go,
were
shades
you
of
in the
brown.
toilet bowl at that point, looking at the Moncal cruiser? Or...
oh, no. Dude, don't get me started with the Moncal.
Sorry.
We'll get to that piece
Sorry,
of
you
crap.
said tan and brown. I thought you were looking at the
No,
toilet bowl, and then I
this is
thought
a
you were
cool-
talking about that. And
No, nobody watches my X-Wing reviews, but it's actually a really good ship. So I go on the computer and I type in shades of tan and I hit enter, thinking, maybe like Bear or a paint company would have something matching. No, freaking Crayola. And it was like burnt brass or burnt titanium or something.
Wow.
It was some metallic color mixed with urban. I can't even pronounce the freaking word. Auburn.
Auburn.
Yeah, something like that. Who the hell knows? And I was like, it's this color. And one of my viewers commented, because on a previous video, I had to go downstairs because my glasses are garbage and ask my mom and dad basically, what color do you see on this friggin' ship? And they go, my dad goes, oh, that's black. And then I take it to my mom. It's charcoal gray. Get out of here. So I take it upstairs and I say, oh, well, I had to go get help. It's charcoal gray. And then a person comments who's actually probably like my #1 fan. Or
Yeah.
He comments on everything. And
Well,
we
good.
talk on Facebook and stuff.
Very nice.
I share ideas with him. But
Cool.
he commented
Very cool.
and he goes, oh, having trouble with the paint today. And I'm like, what do you want from me?
I can't see it very well.
No, it's like, for example, I'm looking
I
at
only know
this
so many
contraption. I see that those cables are
Red,
black.
white, and blue.
No, but
all
look,
I know.
for example, you look at this and you see
Sure.
black.
Black.
Cables.
Yes.
But there's also a grayish white hue on
Yeah.
it from where the rubber is worn.
Right, that's from 20 years of
Yeah,
age.
but
Right,
still,
right.
that's a color. So if I
Yeah.
were to describe that to my audience, it's
Very
black
muted.
with
Matte
some sort of
black.
dirt wash of white.
Right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
So I try to be very accurate.
And Dave, I will say this, that for those who might have a visual impairment or blindness, it's actually really nice to be able to listen to the description of the colors and the textures and things like that may not readily be seen by watching a video. If you can't see the video that well or don't have access to the video feed, it's nice to have that kind of explanation.
Well, it's good you brought that up because every time I talk about my channel, I always make it a point to say, it did start because it was my escape from my job, which these two guys sitting next to me know it can be very horrible. Some of you know it could be bad. I work with behavioral autistic children or children with autism, depending on how you want to say it. And some days, it really gets to me mentally and physically, and I come home and I need some way to unwind. And that's how the channel started, as my own escape. And one of the promises I made was that I would never pick on somebody or exclude them. I would try not to cater to everybody because I'm not like that, but it's like a nerd safe zone. I don't care if you like Babylon 5, Star Trek, Star Wars, Max Steel, or anything like that. Like, geez, you could come on a channel and talk
Teen
about
Titans
Alex
Go.
Jones with the gay frogs, but still, I'm not gonna hate on you. You're coming to my channel to escape from your life. You want to be entertained, you want to be informed, and the fact that you brought that up is a good point because that is one of the reasons why I do it.
And it's interesting, Dave, you say escape, but it's also an enrichment. So people might escape, but it also enriches their lives.
Yeah,
so
it's
really cool.
It is very interesting because time and time again I get these comments and they'll be like, oh, Dave, you inspired me to collect blank, or your videos helped me deal with blank. And I'm not going to lie, not to toot my own horn. When I read these comments, and of course there's bad ones, but when I read the good ones, it really makes all the time and effort I put into my channel worth it. It really does, because this stuff isn't easy. Oh my god, if I had a channel just for bloopers where I'm stuttering and all this other crap, there would be like 5,000 videos. Nothing goes really easy.
Right.
No, of course not.
So, that's...
So speaking of plan, maybe we should just get back to the plan, because Tyler was going to tell us a little more about his collections.
Sure. I mean,
That's
fine.
right. Tyler, I'm sorry I
You're
took
fine.
over.
Call me
No,
Doug
no.
the Redirect. I can do it.
Yeah, you got to redirect.
I will redirect.
Because we'll just keep going on rants and...
Yeah, no worries.
Everything.
Absolutely no worries at all.
Well, continue.
Oh, good.
I apologize.
You're fine. Promise. So into my teenage years, not much changed. It was still Lord of the Rings, like the Toy Biz, Lord of the Rings, and I think I started getting into bootleg Nendroids then, because I couldn't afford real ones because they were super expensive, and I got my first Figma when I was like a teenager. It was Link from Zelda.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
and I think that was the first that was my dive into higher quality collectibles. Because I wasn't in because the Toy Biz Lord of the Rings figures they were good for the time, but they weren't great, and I feel like not to be an elitist, but Figma as a company makes just really good, solid figures between the paint apps, the articulation, all that. So now, present day, I collect Figma. I have figure arts ranging from like Sailor Moon to Dragon Ball to I have like I just got the Darth Maul re-release, and that's an amazing figure.
Yes, it is.
Like really, really solid. I have like one figure from. No, I have two figures from Super 7. I think they're really, really, really awesome brand company. And then I have like Proplicas from Bandai, which are all like Sailor Moon related. And I collect taxidermy, which really isn't a collect. I mean, it is a collectible. It's part of my collection. I have a couple pieces from that. I have like some movie memorabilia. And
Well, as far as taxidermy goes,
Yeah.
we're not talking like deer heads and stuff.
no,
like
no,
that.
no. It's all. I'm not really I'm not really into stuff. Like I have a bat that is, preserved. It's like mummified.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And then
pretty cool though. It's like hanging upside down.
Yeah. That was cool. And then I have a raccoon skull, which I definitely prefer skulls over like stuffed taxidermy. Just
Like the Predator.
yeah, just like the Predator. That's pretty much it. I mean, I have a very random collection, but I think it all goes together. It's very eclectic. But
Yeah, it's very cool.
It is. Yeah. I like to think so too.
And there's nothing wrong with like an anime at all. I for one, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, what else?
Cardcaptor Sakura.
I don't know what that is.
It's
but
a magical girl anime from the 90s, and it's really good.
well, you got me beat. I got nothing.
No, go ahead. You watch Gundam, you watch Dragon Ball.
I mean, I have no clue what you were saying.
So?
When I was growing up, Channel 11 had Sailor Moon and Beast Wars on, so
There you
I
go.
would watch
Well,
Sailor
Yeah,
Moon.
Sailor Moon was great.
Yeah,
I'd
it
wake
was
up
pretty
early
good.
in the morning just to watch that.
Like, I'll admit, watching it now,
Yeah.
I see how it's targeted more towards girls
Well, of
at
course.
the time.
And maybe more towards like younger
Yeah.
people. But
Yeah.
I
the
can
animation was
understand
good.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
was.
And I like when she killed all the monsters. That was awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was pretty badass.
If you read the source material, it's pretty.
If we're back to the points of ASM articulation.
Yeah, sorry, but no, seriously. I mean, there are some, not super, whatever. And then I have like random stuff. Like I have some Black Series stuff. Like just a couple things. Like I have the Black Series Darth Vader statuette. Crap ton of Legos. I love building Legos.
Who doesn't?
I mean,
Legos
I
are
know people who
timeless.
don't
Look,
like Legos.
That's true.
And I
That's
don't
true.
understand it.
Well,
I don't
obviously,
understand it. And
Those people should be put on an island. It says on the box 0 to 99, and now they upgraded it. Now it says for everyone or something
Yeah,
like that.
well,
forever or whatever.
It's
hey, I gave my mom one of those little Lego flowers that was in a little
yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
And the other day she's like, "Oh, I built my flower. Oh,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself."
yeah.
I don't think she's touched a Lego in 30 years. She's just over there playing with the Lego. Given I built the flower too because they were like 50 cents a bag.
Yeah,
but what the heck? I
they
built
were
the flower.
Yeah.
Poly bags on sale.
Yeah, come on.
Why not?
Clearance.
No, but Legos are awesome, and we're going to talk about them later. Because
Okay.
I also collect Legos from different genres and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you good?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like look around and see what I collect like stuffed animals like Ryukuma, which is a Sanrio character. Pretty cool. I also have a couple NECA figures, which, some Pan's Labyrinth and Trick or Treat and Pennywise. A couple, like 3 or 4 of the.
The Trick or Treat figure is
once.
awesome.
Yes, it is the Ultimate Sam. I highly recommend it. It's on sale on Amazon right now, $33. Yeah, $33 USD. I have to clarify, $33 USD, just in case you're not in the.
I said, but I'll do that after the show. So moving on, now I'm going to introduce my other friend, Doug. Doug, would you like to tell us some history about you?
Sure. Well, when the best is when just knowing that you folks on the other end can't see what I see. So if I just start laughing, it's because they're probably trying to make me laugh. Well, Dave mentioned earlier that I was a big X-Men fan. I still am. So when it started coming out on TV, they created action figures. Toy Biz made them. They came out with the I think my first action figure was the Wolverine that had the mask that came off and the claws that came out with springs. They were pretty cool. He was like the orange and brown suit Wolverine. Well, when Dave pretends to lick his nipples, I don't think I cannot laugh at that. How many points of articulation does his nipples have? I don't know. But anyway.
2.
Anyway, we know this is not for kids, this channel. Absolutely not. So,
Adult collectors.
Adult collectors. And sorry if any of this is lewd. Apologies, but not
We
really.
didn't even say anything bad yet.
Yeah, no apologies.
Take that, Copa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Copa still a thing? I don't think so.
Wait, what?
Is it
Is Copa still a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it is
it's a
a
thing.
thing, but
You know,
no threat to you anymore.
well, here's the thing. Copa is still out there.
Yeah.
YouTube's rules are still out there. The federal
Right.
government is still out
Right.
there. I have not seen anything yet. No news about the government coming after somebody. No fines.
No.
And from research I've
Bunch of
done,
baloney.
it could be.
baloney.
Or they're waiting for the checks to come out. And then the government will go, oh, so this is how much you made. Well, since you're making stuff that kids could go on, we're going to fine you based on what you produced.
See, I think that Cope is like a cat, and it's waiting.
Yeah.
The cat's waiting there, and it's ready to pounce. And in just a moment, it's gonna go and get it.
It's like in the darkness, waiting to...
It's waiting.
It's like the Sauron's forces.
Yeah.
It's building its forces in Mordor.
Yeah.
And then just when you think you're safe...
Or it's like the Nothing from
Oh, yeah.
from the Neverending Story, that weird cat wolf thing, whatever it was.
It was
What
a
was
giant
that?
wolf.
Giant wolf. Like just waits in the darkness.
Yeah, but with all honesty and seriousness, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knew anything when the fear was going out. It's like the coronavirus.
You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Is it super bad? People on the internet say people are dying all the time. Our governments are saying it's not that bad, even though they're quarantined in different countries. But the thing is, there's a lack of information or misinformation. And the same happened with Copa. Everybody's jumping the gun, making videos, fear-mongering. And the fact is, for channels like mine, where I come out and say, listen, I don't have to have a sentence in front of my channel or me stepping in front of the camera going, hi everybody, my name's Dave, and this channel's not meant for anybody under 13. I don't need or should have to do that, because what my channel is, anybody with a brain could sit down and watch my channel and know that an average 13 and under kid is not going to go on my channel and watch me talk about a Super Star Destroyer for 25 minutes. It's not going to happen. When I'm just, basically looking at super high def close up and going, wow, that's fantastic. And by the way, that's my number one said word on the channel.
Fantastic.
Everything's fantastic.
Wow.
That's fantastic. That's usually how I say it.
Wow.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I have no clue. It could come to haunt me years down the road. It could get me tomorrow.
Doubtful.
It's like the boogeyman. It's like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I like that. Playing around with our little effects here, little live effects on the Yamaha.
But yeah.
So,
That's,
so you want me to keep going, right?
Yes,
Talk a
please.
little
yeah,
bit.
I'm sorry. We just
That's
keep
all right.
going
We're on
on different
tangents.
rants.
It's fine.
As we said before, this is the very first time we're doing something like this. And I guess you'll get to everything we used to do back in the day with the history of why you even have microphones and everything. So
Oh yeah,
mic is
definitely,
yours.
definitely. Okay, you want me to go into all that too? Okay, well I'll talk about. I'll briefly just say. So as far as collections go, big Marvel fan. So I have a Marvel Legends collection of over 300 figures. I don't know what the number is now, but the last time I counted was 300, and I've
crazy.
added to that since. So
I
it's
think I lost count at like 400. I stopped with my Excel sheet. No, 350 something.
I don't know.
I gave it
don't
up.
know. I don't know, but I have quite a bit, and I think I actually might have more than you, which is
Well, because
tough.
you had you came out of the darkness like the boogeyman,
Yeah.
and the thing
Partially because of me.
Doug-
I went into a little recession where I did not collect anything for about 7 years.
well, you know, he was getting his life together, buying a house, going to school.
Priorities, man. Priorities.
That's what you got to do.
So
And,
so I had to kind of put things aside.
reignited
But
that.
It's the
when
dark
I
ages.
reawoke and decided to go back into collecting, so I do have quite a bit of those. I have some of the older Pokemon figures. They have no articulation; they're just small statics. Have some old Star Trek figures. I do like anything that has to do with Star Trek ships. So I have the Eagle Moss, I have the Hallmark ornaments, some micro machines, some of the old Playmates ones that are larger scale, things like props from Star Trek, like tricorders, phasers, stuff like that. Let's see, what other stuff? Oh, of course, Beast Wars. I have a large collection of Beast Wars Transformers back when they came out. A couple Transformers from prior to that. And I don't even know. I mean, I do collect quite a bit of things. so getting away from like the figure aspect of stuff, I do like I collect antiques and phonographs, records, cars. I like cars. I have quite a few cars, so kind of cool stuff. My one greatest collection, I think, is my Ozzy Osbourne CD collection. And now, Dave and Tyler, feel free. You can laugh into the microphone. See, I'm a little bit. No, I'm not really a little bit obsessed. Maybe like a lot, but Ozzy's excellent.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne. Anyone who has heard him,
it's a good obsession.
yeah, he's awesome. He just came out with a new album February
And
21st.
you know what? That could be another topic for a show because everybody thinks he's a Satan worshiping nutcase.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, he's not.
No,
His
not at
music's
all.
actually really good.
Yeah, my mom would definitely not tolerate that. So, anyhow, yeah, Dave, there's quite a bit of things. I have a collection of Marvel cards, like the medals and the fleers. I think they're fleers, ultra fleers, things like that. I don't know.
For those who don't know, we're in our 30s. We grew up in the 90s.
Except for Tyler.
Yeah. And
Excuse me?
You grew up in the 90s, but you're
Yeah.
not in your 30s.
So
You got a ways to go yet.
Well,
and
I'm 26.
You got a ways to go yet.
yeah, you got like 6 years.
I got 3.5.
But what I'm saying is Marvel was massive in the 90s. Now we didn't have
Huge.
we didn't we didn't have the MCU or good movies like that. Actually
Sam Raimi, Spider-Man.
wasn't out yet.
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
is when like
We
early
had
90s.
Generation
That's
X.
Tim Burton
That
Batman.
movie was so
That's
bad.
DC.
No, but what I'm saying is, you go into Kmart or Caldor or Bradley's or something like that, and there's just a wall of toys. Wolverine, Dazzler, you name it, it was up there. You go in to where they used to have candy machines.
I don't think there was ever a Dazzler.
Didn't they make a
I
Dazzler?
don't think so.
Well, you would know.
I
I didn't
would
buy
know.
any of
Yeah.
that.
The only Dazzler
had
that
it.
was out was on the VHS tape that you get at the comic store for the Pride of the X-Men pilot episode.
That was it?
That's the only mention of Dazzler when I was a kid.
But they never made a figure of her?
No. I might be incorrect, but I'm like, I bet you probably 90% certain, maybe even close to 99% certain that there was not a Dazzler.
I'm being
Well,
figure.
you're
ordered to
probably
look it
right.
up.
But my point still exists. You would go to a store and there's a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Same as Star Wars.
Absolutely.
A literal wall. There had to be like 50 figures up on a thing. It isn't like today where you go
Star
to
Wars
Walmart.
and X-Men. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Star Trek, too. There was a lot of Star Trek stuff out there.
Yeah. And now all those people grew up to make Discovery.
So,
Sad.
Oh, we shouldn't talk about that.
there was indeed a Dazzler.
I knew it.
However, it was a Hall of Fame, and it looks like it's 3 3/4 inch scale. Unless it looks tiny. I mean, that doesn't look like a regular.
That looks
6-inch
weird.
Legends.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, but it has the
never heard of it.
articulation.
Interesting.
It has like the Power Ranger flip head articulation
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
got
interesting.
arm. It's got
Wow.
elbow joints.
That's cool.
with a pin in it. Yeah.
Oh, man. Don't you just love it when you're wrong? When you find out cool things like that?
Well, technically, we're both wrong because
Well, I'm not
that's
saying
not
you're
part
wrong.
of
I
the
mean,
X-Men.
I'm wrong. But,
It's 5-inch. It's a 5-inch figure.
but yeah, I
Well,
don't know what
it's-
that was, too.
I don't know. I never heard of Hall of Fame.
I don't know either.
Anyway, like I was saying,
Anyway.
Marvel was massive in the terms of you could get anything, and what I was getting to is you could go to a candy machine where you put $1 in and plug in 7E, and back then, and even some stores today, it used to be full of different X-Men training cards that you could just buy in the slot machine. And it was insane. I used to go with one of my mom's friends who had a son, and he used to buy them, and then he gave me some of his duplicates because he had so many. So it's like everything, posters, notebooks, everything. And it's interesting because it was a phenomenon even before the movies made it big today.
Definitely. Absolutely, man. So, you want me to continue with history and things? Okay. So, I will self-attest I'm a big nerd. Not just nerd for, like, comics and action figures and things like that. I'm actually a really bad movie person. I'm the one person in this room that if you ask, have you ever seen, I probably either forgot I saw it or didn't see it. So, I'm going to just say that. So, if Dave's like, oh, you ever see this movie? I'm just being quiet because I really don't have anything to say because I don't really watch a lot of movies. However, with that being a nerd, I guess you could say, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's awesome. I do like audio equipment, audio video, stuff like that. And back in the day, I had a radio station with my next door neighbor that we created with internet radio. This was back when the internet was starting to boom in early 2000s. We had internet radio, things like Live 365. It was a platform. There was Shoutcast. We had our own Shoutcast server, which was probably not legal. We had that for a little while. It wasn't. You weren't supposed to use your Cablevision internet for streaming, and we did anyway. And I had a server at home, and yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And we had a couple people, and depending on your internet speed and your computer's power, you can have a number of listeners. So we didn't have that many, but we had kind of gone through this and did some live radio shows over that, and so it was a passion for a long time. And then after going through high school and then getting into college and just growing up a little bit and doing stuff, that kind of got put to the side. But I've still always been an audio buff. You can walk around the house and count the number of turntables and receivers and speakers I have all over the place. So it was just a cool excuse to do this and to get some new equipment to help you out, Dave. We're going to continue to make it better if this actually does well. So if folks want to hear some more, we'll try our best, see what we can do.
Hopefully we don't go on rants so much, or I don't go on rants so much and sort of go off topic, and then we got to bring it back in.
That's what this is about.
Yeah, it's about just
ebb and flow.
Yeah, the path seldom chosen. Just take the path and come on back.
Yeah.
So we'll just bring it back in, and so yeah. Anyway, Dave, you and I have known each other for quite a long time. So
over 10 years.
Longer than that. I would even go probably 20 years, considering we knew each other before we were even friends.
That is true. So
Elementary school, in the playground.
Let's say 4th grade. 4th grade for me, probably 5th or 6th for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so it's a long time. It's a long time. We probably knew each other around the time Tyler was born.
So 98, 99.
Oh, no,
I was
no.
out of here.
How old are you,
I'm
Tyler?
26. I was born in
Do you have an
1993.
incubation tube back there
Oh
with
my
like 4 more
God.
Tylers?
Actually,
and they're just sitting there
he came from the Borg maturation chamber.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
is that the babies in the drawers?
I don't remember. They were in
They
like
weren't in
big
Borg.
tube type
Yeah.
things. They looked like they were their own warp cores
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
bunch of
And it was
Borg,
all,
Borg
green
textures.
and
Yeah.
whatever.
It's weird
know.
because in the Next Generation, Will Riker beamed aboard a Borg cube, and he opened up a drawer, and it was just a baby, like a real baby,
Yeah.
sitting there like looking like this, and they glued Borg parts on it or something.
Oh, it
like
could have
that.
just been the Next Generation equivalent of a Borg maturation
Yeah.
chamber. They had to use the technology at the time, and by the time they got to Voyager,
Yeah.
it was a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this because you do Star Wars a lot on your channel, but come on now, all those, what is his name? Snopes? Snoke? What is it? Snoke?
Snoke.
Oh, Snoke. Wasn't that a bunch of baby Snokes in the last movie, the
Yes.
last Star Wars movie?
Well, they weren't
Yes.
even babies. They were just.
Well, whatever. It's Borg
like
maturation
clones.
chambers. The
Naked
whole
clones.
thing looked like a big Borg cube, and then he was controlling
I'm not-
everybody like the Borg, like a big collective. Anyway, I had to say
I'm
it.
not talking about those.
Yeah, we don't
Oh,
have to talk
it's
about that.
Disney
It's
movies.
awful.
It's okay.
That's
Had to do my own rant.
Tho-
Had the
tho-
microphone. Now I had the floor. Had to say it.
yeah, those movies will be another video that I will do personally. And I'm telling everybody right now, if I could get my audio stuff working, I'm going to do reviews of every Star Wars film ever made and show. And it's just going to be from my personal history of how it affected me. And because everybody does a review and are like, in 1977, Star Wars came out and it changed the world. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But a lot of reviewers don't say how the film affected them when they first saw it.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to review them. So, for example, technically I saw The Empire Strikes Back first, but when I review them, I'm going to go with the first film. And first time seeing Star Wars, I'm going to tell you all right now, I was kind of bored until the second half. But that's what I'm going to talk about. Cool. And I'm going to go over all 9 movies, the spin-off films, and also the Ewoks. It's going to be massive.
What about the Christmas special, David?
I'll talk about it. It's a piece of garbage, but I'll talk about it.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. If you didn't see Rise of Skywalker, spoiler warning, Rey should have stayed dead.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren
should have taken the mantle and been, fulfilled his purpose as an actual Skywalker.
Even though he's a solo.
Right. But he has the Skywalker blood in him.
That is true.
And it would have been dandy. It would have been like, all right, great. That's all.
See, this is all future videos.
Well,
see, now
I'm going to
gonna
mention it
come
now.
out. Now people are going to watch my channel that have never stumbled on here before. And they're going to put comments in.
Well, good.
Tyler's a misogynist.
I am not a misogynist.
Listen, we don't need you, Tyler. Bye-bye.
No.
That's what they say.
Everybody has opinions.
No, you can't have an opinion in 2019/2020.
Yes, I'm going to have an opinion.
I am going to have an opinion.
Even if Rey was a man, I would have still said the same thing. The story would have worked better if I'm saying if
I'm trying to picture everything in my head.
Okay, if the roles were reversed and Rey's character was the exact same but male and Kylo Ren's character was the exact same but female, I would have still wanted Rey to stay dead and Kylo Ren to live.
I'm going to be 100% honest with both of you. If Kylo Ren was a girl, that would have been really awesome and interesting because it would have mirrored Jan Sola in the expanded universe. But even though she was good in the expanded universe, I just mean Solo and Leia's daughter. So it would have been cool. It would have linked up. It would have made the expanded universe people happy.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting to see a villain that was a female that, you really root for.
Yeah.
Because if she had the same arc as Kylo Ren, it would have been very interesting. To me, anyway.
Totally.
And as far as Gump says, that's all I got to say about that.
And I think that even the redemption, the emotional turmoil of Kylo Ren would have been more dynamic if it was a female. And was dynamic as a male. I mean, I think his character was the most interesting part, of the new trilogy.
Absolutely. He carried that trilogy, that guy.
Totally. So that's all I have to say. Doug is making faces like he is going to...
Speaking of Star Wars, I remember this one moment. Now, I used to go yard sailing with my mom and my grandparents all the time. And I remember finding this Jabba the Hutt 1977 figure, 1978, whatever, original figure, and the tail. You moved the upper torso of Jabba the Hutt and the tail wagged. It was great. And it was 10 cents.
Damn.
It was awesome.
You still have it?
I still have it. It's up. That's actually up in my office. That's a very special piece.
And it's in good condition.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Definitely. And it's cool. I think they did a really nice job with it.
Yeah.
Even the texturing on the body and everything, it's really cool.
Would that have been Kenner, yeah?
Yeah.
Back then?
Yeah, Kenner.
Yeah, well, for all the Kenner figures, that's definitely one of the best ones.
Yeah, there's plenty more to learn about me, Dave, but since we're only doing one episode right now, I think we'll just leave it there.
So for my history, growing up, when I was younger, it was a lot of Kenner toys. Terminator, Aliens, RoboCop. And moving on from there, it was Micro Machines, Star Trek, Star Wars, little vehicles. I was always into the smaller ships, smaller toys, war planets, that type of stuff. And I don't know why, mainly because in my mind, you could have more of something that's small. And of course, I got into the Power of the Force Star Wars figures. One of my favorite lines, even though they're all muscled up like He-Man, they were cool for the time, and I really enjoy them, the Shadows of the Empire. But around 4th or 3rd grade, I started to wean away from toys. And, it was due to, with the passage of time, people would take them, I would lose them. But what really started everything off was Nintendo. Super Nintendo, N64, and that was really my go-to for escape. And less about Legos and all the stuff I used to play with as a small child. And video games was where it was at for the longest time. And around 2006-07, when I was graduating high school, I was going through a Target with my mom and sister, and I found the Star Wars Titanium ships. And that was my go-to. That was my first major collection, I would say, from being a kid, collecting Crash Dummies in Jurassic Park and Star Wars and all that crap. But I really enjoyed those ships for the detail, paint, moving parts, and all that stuff. And I would go to my friend's house in PA, Doug, who's sitting right there, and he started to collect Marvel Legends. And when I saw a Marvel Legend, it blew my mind. I'm used to figures with 5 points of articulation, or basically statues like a McFarlane piece. But the original Toy Biz Marvel Legends blew my mind because not only did it look decent, but it had 30 points of articulation or more. And for me, my brain couldn't fathom that, and they looked beautiful. Now, at that time, I did not have a good job, so when I got home, I couldn't afford Marvel Legends, so I got into Marvel Universe, and I actually have a video on my channel where I go over my whole collection of 3 3/4 inch Marvel people. And that was my go-to with the Star Wars, and sadly the Titanium line ended. Marvel Universe changed into Marvel Legends years down the way, and they sort of died out as well. And what I turned to was Neca. Going through college, the Terminator 2 line for Judgment Day was amazing. I loved all their figures. I thought they looked great, and that led me into Predator, Alien, Evil Dead, so on and so forth. And today I still collect them. I have a huge cabinet full of Aliens merchandise from them, Bill and Ted, a lot of stuff, even Rocky, all their Ultimates I keep in boxes above my bed. It's my go-to movie collectible company. They are really amazing. And if you're in the mood to look for something of your favorite horror movie or whatever, they just made a Pinhead. That thing looks amazing. I really recommend their stuff. Besides NECA, Star Wars The Black Series, the 6-inch line, I love it so much. And I believe in a couple months, they're making a Snow Speeder, a bunch of Empire Strikes Back figures, and I can't wait to get that. Of course, I pre-ordered them all, even the Imperial Probe Droid, the Snow Speeder, all the figures. I'm really looking forward to that, and I will review that Snow Speeder because it looks amazing. Hands down, one of the coolest pieces they've done. And besides the Black Series, I also moved into Marvel Legends, started to collect a lot of them. I sort of gave it up. I only get figures I really think are cool at the moment. Also, X-Wing miniatures and the Armada game from Fantasy Flight Games. I love those ships, very detailed. The paint is beautiful. And even though they are a part of a tabletop game, for a miniature, amazing. And the X-Wing ships are even in scale for the most part. So that's one of the major reasons I collect those. And I got reviews of all this stuff on my channel. And the most recent collection, and one of my most popular on the channel, is the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships collection. You know, Hot Wheels, they started off their line geared more towards children. But as time went on, the stands became more adult collector friendly. The models became a little better painted. You know, there are hit and misses along the line, but for the most part, they're giving us unique molds, beautiful paint schemes, and a lot of you like them, and I could see why. They are very, very cool. And that's where I'm at today. So that just about covers everything. So are you guys done with your histories, your favorite collections?
Yeah.
So what I propose is when we conclude the video, we go over our favorite pieces or collections that we have now that really shines to us. And I'll go first, I guess.
Sure.
First of all, my first favorite piece is the NECA Aliens Queen, the original blue version. I love it. The articulation, the sculpt, it really reminds me of the film. It's a beautiful piece. It's disgusting because it's an alien, but it really is beautiful sculpt-wise. Second is the Star Wars Armada Superstar Destroyer. I love this piece. It is beautiful to me. I love all the nooks and crannies, even if the engine paint is wrong. But besides that, it's awesome to me, and that's basically my favorite pieces as of right now.
Well, Dave, thanks for asking me. I have some cool things here, but my absolute favorite is my Fin Fan Foom from the Marvel Legends Hasbro Wave 4 Fin Fan Foom. He's awesome. He's over a foot tall. Fantastic. I had him for quite some time, but I never got the King Hulk, which came with the tail tip. So just a few years ago, probably about a little over 10 years or about 10 years after I had the full thing except the tail tip finished, I finally got the King Hulk with the tail tip. So he's complete. I love him. I have to say that Galactus, Marvel Legends Galactus Build-A-Figure, and the Sentinel Build-A-Figure, and the MODOK Build-A-Figure are my absolute favorites. I just think they're great. And specific mention to the MODOK figure. The paint application on MODOK is fantastic. Sentinel, the paint application is also fantastic. The shading, the colors. I mean, you would actually look at that thing. And we can take a look at it now. Where we're sitting, we could see it. And it literally looks like metal. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It does. It's pretty damn good.
It is, and the fingers articulate. It's just fantastic. So you don't find figures of that scale with that many points of articulation. I have not counted. I don't know how many, but I bet there's a lot. Definitely brings a justice to the name Points of Articulation.
Or Marvel Legend.
Yeah. Oh, oh yeah, that too. Well, anyway, those are my favorites, Dave. How about you, Tyler?
My number one favorite is the... Is it Bandai Tamashii Nations? It's the Metal Build Evangelion Unit 1.
That is pretty awesome.
It is cool.
Insane. It is the most expensive figure in my collection easily, and I had to buy it secondhand, or not secondhand, but rather on eBay because it sold out within minutes when the pre-order went up. So
your scar is still healing from the organs you had to sell to get that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is well worth it. I mean, between the figure itself, I mean, there's a lot of Evangelion figures out there that I've come across and I'm just never blown away, but that was like the first one that I saw that I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful piece. And there's the die-cast metal joints and a lot of accessories, and it's just a really, really beautiful piece that doesn't even, it's separate from everything else because it's just so special. And then probably the Kaleido Moonscope Proplica, which is my favorite weapon in Sailor Moon. It's from the 4th story arc. It's just beautiful. It's fantastic. It's nostalgic for me, and it's just awesome. Really awesome. Really
That's
nice.
the point.
Solid piece. Yeah.
3 dudes, 3 different loves, and the thing is, we all got along, and I think that's important. We all have different things we're into, and I'm more Star Wars, Doug's Star Trek, Tyler's into his stuff.
I'm an amalgamation.
Anime. Yeah, it's
Huge amalgamation.
Yeah, you could tell by looking at your case. Like he doesn't just have a case with one thing. He has a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Very artfully put together, actually.
yeah,
It really
it
looks
does
great.
look very well put together.
I do want to also add and just put a special mention out for the Babadook book that I have.
That is
That
badass.
thing is awesome.
Well, if we're putting special mentions
Yeah.
that are kind of outside of the norm,
Yeah.
so to say, something that I have that's fantastic is the Ozzy Osbourne "See You on the Other Side" gift
There
set
you
of
go.
all of his
Yes.
original
Every single
albums
one.
on vinyl, and a
Yeah.
beautiful box set with enhanced reality, and it's just really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's one that's signed, right?
It is, yeah. He
Yeah.
signed every one. He's
Yeah.
been laid up, so he had a lot of time to sit there and sign certificates.
Yeah.
When you put your phone with the app, it's called the Arlen app, and you put the app up against the certificate, and it
Yeah.
registers the bone frame. It's like little bones that shape the frame in the picture. It brings up a video of Ozzy feverishly signing every single one.
yeah.
And he's like, he signs on like 6 of them. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. We all had a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And I think, for our first prototype show, we've never done a podcast before. And I just kept ranting. But I guess that's what it's all about. Just having fun, cutting loose. I really don't know. But I had a blast. And I thank Doug for setting all this up. Tyler for doing his stuff.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Okay.
It
I
was,
love the silence.
It was great.
Anyone listening to this would be like, wow, these guys are really like not used to doing this.
But
That's the point of a prototype, folks. We're just making
yeah,
it work.
we're just kicking back and trying to have a little fun and seeing what happens. And if any of you has comments, put them down. I'll read all of them. If this has a lot of traction, I would love to make more. Of course, I won't go on a rant as much. We'll be more streamlined. And we'll see what happens, because we do have a lot to talk about. Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, collectibles growing up.
Absolutely. And, if you want to hear more from Doug and Tyler, maybe we'll spin off into something else.
Yeah, it's always a possibility. He's got the technology. I'm working on acquiring it. So who knows? Hopefully we could all keep going. And if you do have a YouTube channel, obviously I will send my people your way. All 1,835
Impressive
of them.
numbers, Dave.
Or
Impressive
45
numbers.
of them.
Absolutely.
Haven't looked in a while. But, yeah, that's everything I have to say. Anybody else have anything to contribute?
No.
So that does it today for this prototype podcast. I really hope all of you found it enjoyable. If you did, slam that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday on my channel, subscribe. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for checking out this video and listening. It really means a lot to me, Doug and Tyler. And I hope to see you next time.
Bye,
everybody.